Okay, guys, so we left off at this question here where we were describing the tick marks on the number line between the tens. And we know that the little tick marks between the tens are there dividing each tens into 10 equal parts so they can represent hundreds. Okay, so on the number line, the tick marks that divide the distance between 0 and 1, which is one whole, into 10 equal parts, are tick marks showing tens. The tick marks that divide the distance between 0 and 1 into 100 equal parts are tick marks showing hundreds. So the smaller tick marks are your hundreds, okay? So let's go to letter B. Between which tens should you locate the number on the number line? So if I go back up to the number line, and I know that this is 110, 2 tens, 3 tens, 4 tens, 5 tens, 6 tens, and then 7 tens. The tick mark or the little dot for 6500s is between 6 tens and 7 tens. Okay, so we go back down to our question and we're going to put 6 tens and 7 tens. Let's see if we are correct. And actually, we have great thinking. It says the tens marked between 0 and 1 are 1 10, 2 tens, 3 tens, 4 tens, 5 tens, 6 tens, 7 tens, 8 tens, and 9 tens. The tick marks that divide the distance between 0 and 1 into 100 equal sized parts are tick marks showing hundreds. The fraction is 65 hundredths. The tick mark 6500 is located between the tick marks for 6 tens and 7 tens. So let's go to question C. How many tenths and how many hundreds are represented by 65 hundredths? So how many tenths are in 6500? So if you look at that, you should say, okay, if I look at the 6 in the tens place or in the tens place, that would be 6 tenths. And then how many hundreds? Look at the hundreds place, because remember that technically if you wrote this as a decimal, you would have, let me see if I can write it. The decimal would look like 0.65. Not too bad. So then here, this will be your tens. And then here you will have your hundreds, okay? So going back to my mouse, that would mean that here we have 65, 6 tens, 500s. So let's check. Excellent. All right. So then let's go to D. It says record the decimal form for 6500s in the place chart. Well, technically I just did it. So let's go ahead and record it. So here we will have a 0 in the ones place. Then you have your decimal point. You will have a 6 in the tens place. Oh, that's not a pretty 6. Let me see if I can erase that. Okay. You will have a 6 in the tens place, and then you would have a 5 in the hundreds place. So that would be 65 hundredths, okay? Or I could have chose to do it this way. Hold on one second. I could have chose to use, let me erase this. So I could have chose to do it with moving instead of writing. I could have just chose to put the actual numbers up there, and I could have put 0, and then I could have put 6, and then I could have put 5. And then if I check it, we are correct, okay? So then let's go down to the other question. It says record the decimal form of 65 hundredths on the number line. So I know I have 1 10, 2 tens, 3 tens, 4 tens, 5 tens, 6 tens. So I know that this is 60 hundredths as well, and this is 70 hundredths. So if I look, I go 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. So 65 is here. Let me go ahead and mark it here. Oh, sorry, that's too big. Let's erase. Give me. All right. Oh, it's not erasing. There we go. Let's go back. So we got our, we're going to actually put it about right here. So there will be our record our decimal form on the number line, okay? So then it says select the arrow to show the represent. So we could have written it out as 0.65, but it's a little bit harder to write. So this is what it should look like on the number line. Okay, guys, we have went through Spark Your Learning and Build Understanding number 1. I'm coming back with number 2.